Shalom, welcome to our Shalom in Jerusalem. I'm Avraham Shira with our daily class from Rebbe Nachman on Patreon. We're holding in Torah Kav Dala, the 24th Torah, in the third paragraph from the beginning. It begins, K'shadam osim eze mitzvah. When a person does a mitzvah, ish koch ba mitzvah. There's power in the mitzvah. Le'elech lo'oreh kol olamot lavodat Hashem yitbarach, to go and to arouse all the worlds in the service of God. Now we're going to take this sentence apart and try to understand it piece by piece to really get into what is he saying. It's an amazing statement. When a person does a mitzvah, you can arouse all the world to avodat Hashem. Wherever you are, it's not bound by geography, right? We're talking about upper levels here, places beyond time and space. Now, the title of this class, we're making a space for the infinite. You're going to see that there's a ma'alach here. There's a progression of ideas that's going to show us how Hashem teaches us through the tzaddik how to make a space for him inside our mind. So it's a very important idea. Now, this idea of arousing the worlds and avodat Hashem through a mitzvah, he says this is from B'na'arenu B'zakanenu Nelech. In Sefer Shemot, it says, with our youth and our elders we will go. We will go. This idea of going. What is the idea of going? B'tzonenu B'karenu Nelech. This is Moses talking to Pharaoh. We're going to go with our young and our old and our flocks out to serve God in the desert. The idea is going here. Remember this. Malchut malbish et netzach hod yesod. This idea of going, we're going to go, is of course using the legs, which are netzach and hod, and yesod is the balancing element between those two forces, which create the ability to move in this world through our legs. Shehem kli halicha, and this is the vessel of going, or the tools of transporting, perambulation. Gotta love that word, right? V'zeh Torat Elokav belibo, the Torah of God in his heart. Lo ta'amod ashorav, and don't stand in his way. Don't stand in the way of the going. Shehi holechet le'orer, because this idea of going is not just to go to the store or go to the workout club. The idea is to go in the service of God, to arouse the worlds. For what is the most important thing that we can do is attach ourselves to the Creator. And this is also the idea of going, halichot eli, the going of my God, my King, in holiness. Now when we elevate, the idea of malchut is the feet, right? It's this lowest level in the tree of life. It's the level of kingship, but in the physical realm, the idea of kingship is the ability to express, to create action. And so this is the idea of the pasuk, my God, my King, is going in Kodesh, in holiness, and when we lift up the holiness in Kedusha, which in other words, I'm not just going to the store, maybe I am going to the store for holiness. You know, if you're buying food that's healthy and it's going to keep you strong to do the rest of the things you need to do, then you connect it in your mind to the mitzvah of guarding yourself, of strengthening yourself. You guard your souls very much, even from, we know when you get hungry, people kind of lose it a lot. If you notice that when people are hungry, they're not always well balanced or centered and emotionally. So even going to the store can be avodat Hashem. So when we lift up this power of going, of doing, in holiness, they enclose this idea of the going of my God in netzach hod yesod, in these three lower sphirot. And then a person, when he's got that going, he's out there doing, he can arouse all the worlds to serve God. Now, this idea of the world, remember, a world is an energy zone. It's a sphere where you have time and space and intention. And your mind is producing that, well, anytime you want it to. You live in time, most of the time, right? I assume. When you sleep, you're actually above time. Your higher self, right? But your lower self is still in time in your body. But still, we have this concept of time and space and intention, which is creating a world. It's happening all the time. But and through this arousal to serve God and to bring others to do so, by going, this draws down blessing, which is godly life force, into the world. And this is the idea of these lower sphirot of the tree, the two legs and the foundation. When we go and we arouse blessing to come down, where's the blessing coming from? From the hands. The chesed, gevurah, and tiferet, the powers that are animate our hands, our arms, our shoulders, chesed, gevurah, tiferet. So they are drawn down to the lower level, or drawing up together, shehem yadayim, which are the hands. So now we've joined the power of the feet with the power of the hands. Shebisham kol habrachot, because the hands are the source of blessing. And remember, the hands are blessing. This is why the Kohanic blessing is so important, and the Kohanim putting out their hands to the community when they bless. And this is also this idea of God blessed you, l'ragli, to my legs or for my legs. It's like you could be lying at home and you feel kind of down and you don't want to do anything. You're on the couch and not much is happening. Suddenly somebody that you like walks in the door. You get up. You feel a little bit of light, a little bit of movement, a little bit of energy just by somebody coming in. That's what he's saying here. God blessed you to my legs. In other words, your blessing comes to my legs. You make me want to get up and do something. I got to get up in the morning, do my thing, get in the car, come to Jerusalem. There's a blessing in doing that because I'm drawing out the power by doing something. Going to Jerusalem to learn Torah. So then now what we've done is we've elevated the legs to the hands, which is the place of blessing. And the hand of the Jewish people went aloch v'kasha. It went powerfully and strongly, or difficult. Kasha can also mean like with severity. V'ikar barachot miyadayim, and the essential place of the blessing is through the hands. This is why Moses would bless with his hands, the Kohanim bless with their hands. That's why even to this day, when you bless someone, oftentimes you'll see a rabbi will raise his hands. And Aaron lifted up his hands and blessed the nation. And also it is brought Midei Abir Yaakov, from the hands of the warrior of Jacob, Misham Ro'eh Even Yisrael. From there is the shepherd of the rock of Israel. It's a pretty poetic statement. From the hands of the warrior Abir Yaakov, Misham. From there, Ro'eh is the shepherd, Even Yisrael, of the rock of Israel. So we've accomplished two levels now. We've brought blessing to the legs that lift them up to by the hands, and the two now are going. What are they going to do next? Of course, they're going to draw down a higher light from the mind. But tzarich lamshich v'ikar habracha. Excuse me. Whoop. Right. V'ikar habracha shemashpi'im meyadayim, and the essential aspect of blessing is that you give over life force or influence from your hands. Vehem seichel. So what's coming through your hand, this thing we call blessing, like when you bless somebody with your hand, but it's coming through the seichel, so we call it seichel. It's intelligence. When your hands work well, like you're a craftsman, they have blessing. And other people, that they don't have that blessing with their hands. They can't play the piano. They can't make jewelry, etc. So the blessing is coming through the hands. That is the seichel that you put into your hands. That's why they say you want to build something. First, be very aware and have a vision and image of what you're trying to do. Because that seichel will go into your hands in your work. If you don't see what you want to do before you do it, then you're not going to bring the intelligence into what you do. Again, it's worth repeating. If I don't see what it is I want to do, I won't bring intelligence to what I'm doing. And when this comes below, when this power comes below, every person is their will is accomplished. That open your hand, God, umasbia, and give satisfaction to all living things. Ratzon, the will. The will is what we're after. Will is energy, power, not willpower. That's different. We're talking about the desire itself is a blessing, and that's ratzon. V'chein mishu ba'al nefesh. Therefore, someone who is truly a person of the soul, ba'al nefesh, the master of his soul. Tzarich l'kaven ratzono. He needs to focus his intention. What am I doing here? That's all it is. Focus your mind on what you're doing. When you focus your mind on what you're doing, you bring blessing to what you're doing. That you bring the blessing of intelligence to what you're doing by focusing the mind. Sikel et yadav. This is the idea of Jacob when he put his hands on Manasseh and Ephraim. He was using his hands to bring intelligence from his hands down into the children. Okay, and this is a Mikdash Hashem Konanu Yadecha. The temple of God is prepared by your hands. This is this middle part of the tree of life, the Chesed Gevurah Tiferet, the right arm, the left arm, and the torso. These powers, Malbishim et Chochma Bina V'Dad, they become the garments of the three powers of the mind. So the three powers of the mind are brought into the vessels of the three powers of the torso, which are then brought into the blessings of the three powers of the legs and the midsection. Here, you see how it works? The tree of life, we're building energy going up, right? From our legs to our hands to our mind. What's the next level? Well, of course, that which is above our mind, the crown, the keter. Here, we have one right here. Now we need to bring faith into everything that we've already built here. We need to have faith to order, to structure, to place the mind as the element of intelligence moving into the hands, which is the element of blessing, moving into the legs, which is the element of movement. Okay? Because we can't rely on our own intelligence. As is known, that a man of faith has many blessings, not just one. And this is the idea that Moses' hands were themselves channels of faith. That in your hands will be established the kingdom, the government of Israel. That's from Shmuel Aleph. Now we're trying to bring faith into our hands. It's not enough that you're intelligent when you work with your hands. It's faith in your ability to bring intelligence into your hands. So it's a process, stage by stage. Uvaniti lo bayit v'ne'eman, and I built for him a faithful house. That your faith, God, is in the community of the holy. Kodesh zebechinat mochin, and of course, mochin is always referred to as Kodesh, or the power of kedusha. Zebechinat malchut yezitzira naseh mimenu chochma bina v'dat de'asiyah. And this is the idea of kingship. The kingship of Yetzirah, the world above the world we live in, is the world of Asiya. Right now we're in Asiya. Yetzirah is a world of angels, a world of emotions. And in that world, the lowest level of that world becomes the highest level of our world. And so too as we go up through the worlds. So Malchuti Yetzirah, the kingship, the lowest level of Yetzirah, Na'aseh mimenu, we make from it the Chokhmah Bina and Da'at of Asiya, the lower level. So we have to reach above ourselves to bring down this whole structure of power into us. But it works. Now, so what the Rebbe did, he described it from the bottom up. And that's called Itruta Dilatata. When we get aroused to do something, then we draw the blessing down. And that's why we began this lesson, Keshadam Oseh Eza Mitzvah. When we do a mitzvah properly, Yesh Koach Ba Mitzvah Lelech L'Oreret Kol Olamot. Then the mitzvah has the power to go out into the world. This little energy pack just goes out in the world and touches people's hearts. And next thing you know, they want to serve God too. Well, that's amazing. But you can influence people without saying a word to them. Do you understand? You hear that? You can influence the people that you love or don't even know. Doesn't matter. By doing the mitzvah with this kavanah. Now, if you love the people, then your blessing, your power is going to be more, shall we say, revealed and more impactful. Okay, so we've gone through 4 levels now. The legs, the power of going. The hands, the power of blessing. The mind, the power of intention, focusing. It's like the steering wheel of your life. And then the Keter, which is faith itself, unifies and fixes the whole system. And when you do all those together, well, the world will see it on you, and you will see your what you do in the world happening. And you will bring fruit into the world, perot, good things, wherever you go, God willing. So this is a good start for this week, and we should all be blessed to pray about these ideas, to learn them and repeat them until we see it living in us and around us. Shavuot Tov, God bless you all.